Welcome once again to Lehto's Law. Here's Steve Lehto.
I know a large portion of my audience tunes in every day looking for my latest take on reality stars. But no, actually, I've gotten so many requests to talk about Kim Kardashian in the California bar that I was trying really hard to avoid it because I don't talk about things like reality television and the Real Housewives and so on here. And I know that she's not a real housewife. I'm simply pointing out that's the kind of stuff I generally don't talk about. But a lot of people are saying, but Steve, Kim Kardashian studied to become a lawyer, and she took the California bar, and she's talked quite a bit about it. She's in the news, and shouldn't you talk about that, especially since she just failed the bar? And I'm caving into peer pressure. So Jill sent me a note most recently, but other people did too. Kim Kardashian reveals bar exam results after telling everybody she's confident. Confident. That's the word that she used. Jack Gravel wrote this story for the Daily Beast. I've got some more information from a different story also. She's been working, that's Kim Kardashian, on passing the bar exam in California now for 6 years. And despite being 100% confident that she passed the bar exam, she's now revealed that she 100% did not pass the bar exam. So she revealed her results on Instagram, because of course she did. And she's 45 years old. She told her followers that she is not a lawyer yet. I just play a very well-dressed one on TV. Apparently, she's got another TV show, Beyond Keeping Up with the... So I didn't know that, but again, this is outside of the circles in which I travel. Here's a quote. 6 years into this law journey, and I'm still all in until I pass the bar. No shortcuts, no giving up, just more studying and even more determination. Now, she's known for having a lot of money. Her family's famous. She has a business called Skims, which is kind of like Spanx, but totally unrelated. And she said on the Graham Norton show that she worked really, really hard on the exam. Really, really hard. I hope to practice law, she said. Maybe in like 10 years, I'll give up being Kim K and be a lawyer, like a trial lawyer. But would she call herself Kim Kardashian, or would she change her name? Because she goes, I'll give up being Kim K. I don't know. For now, she's making do with playing divorce lawyer Allura Grant in Ryan Murphy's new Hulu legal drama, All's Fair. Almost every single phrase in that sentence means nothing to me. I mean, I know what for now means. And she's making do with playing a divorce lawyer, Allura Grant. I guess she's got a TV show called All's Fair that's on Hulu. But again, I've never seen it. The show, in which she stars alongside Glenn Close, who I have heard of, and Naomi Watts, has been savaged by critics. Now, some people are going to say, Steve, you could stop right now and just talk about the bar exam. Do you really need to get into what the critics are doing to her show? Well, because I've never seen the show, I need to know what the critics think. Besides, it's funny. Variety described it as a clumsy, condescending take on rah-rah girl boss feminism, while The Guardian said it was so awful, it feels almost contemptuous. The Daily Beast, which, by the way, is who's running this story, said the show is so astonishingly bad that it feels almost invigorating to watch. And that critic wrote, I don't think anyone was expecting a masterpiece from a television program that's been mostly known until now as the drama that cast Kim Kardashian as the lead. But still, there is enough pedigree involved that should have prevented an abomination of this dystopian scale. And again, like I said, Glenn Close is in it. And she was in a bunch of quite successful movies. So Kardashian has brushed off the hate, asking her Instagram followers whether they had tuned into the most critically acclaimed show of the year. Critically acclaimed. Now, I actually looked the word up. I wanted to make sure that I understood, because once in a while, I'll see someone use a word and I'll go, can it be used that way? And sometimes it can be. And so I thought to myself, well, maybe it's one of those words like, numerous. Numerous has the root similar to number. And so theoretically, isn't something that's one or two numerous? Because those are both numbers. But numerous is a connotation of many, right? Right? So I thought maybe acclaimed merely meant that someone was talking about it. But no. Acclaimed actually has a positive connotation, which means, and I looked this up, and this is from a dictionary, enthusiastically praised. Enthusiastically praised. So for her to say that it's the most critically acclaimed show of the year, no, I don't think it is. It sounds like it's the most critically blasted show of the year. But again, she wants to be a lawyer. Maybe she thinks this is how you start spinning stuff as a lawyer, you know? So she's shared screenshots of online comments suggesting that all the negative publicity is working in her favor, driving viewers to see it for themselves. It reminds me of years ago, there was a James Bond film, and there was a new Bond girl, as there so often are. And one critic said, she ruins every scene in which she opens her mouth. But that wasn't her role. She wasn't in the movie because people wanted to see her act. I won't get too heavily into that. I like James Bond films. She included, and this is back to Kim Kardashian, she included a screen grab from one critic who said that All's Fair dares ask the question, does a show need to be good? And the answer is no, it doesn't. Well, you know, critics are always going to be all over the board. So in case you're curious, she is taking the California bar exam process. And California is one of those states. I went to law school in California. Never took the bar exam. So I can't sit here and tell you I would have passed the bar exam. I think I would have, but I don't know for sure. But famously, they have a couple different ways you can become a lawyer in California. And one is you can go to an accredited law school and then sit for the bar exam. And if you pass that and pass your character and fitness, you can become a lawyer. But if you don't go to an accredited law school, you can go to an unaccredited law school, or there's a couple other things you can do where you can apprentice with somebody and study, and then you do this thing where they say you're going to take this test called the baby bar, which is a precursor. It's something you take, and if you pass that, then you can study some more and sit for the full bar exam that everyone takes. And apparently the baby bar does wash a lot of people out of the process. So it's extremely difficult to do it the way she's attempting to do it. And if she does pass eventually and become a lawyer, my hat will be off to her, although I don't wear hats. However, it's an extremely difficult way to do it. You might say, if she's got all this money, why is she doing it the hard way? And it's because it's the time involved. Because if you want to do it the traditional way like I did, you get an undergraduate degree, which generally takes 4 years, and then you go to law school, which generally takes 3 years, and that's 7 years. And then you take the bar. If you fail the bar, you just lost 7 years of your life. So I don't know how long she's been studying doing this, but she's doing it that way, and I assume it's because she's got so much stuff going on with her acting and her skims and so on. So her father, of course, was a lawyer. Famously, he was part of the O.J. Simpson Dream Team. He was not part of the dream, though. He was part of the team, because most people outside of California had no idea who he was. And there are much more famous attorneys on his team. And most people, including myself, didn't even realize he was on the team till later when I heard about a show called Keeping Up with the Kardashians. And I asked, who are the Kardashians? And why would I want to keep up with them? And they go, oh, that was O.J. Simpson's lawyer. I go, when? During the O.J. trial. What? And there was like sometimes 6 or 7 attorneys. And he was simply O.J.'s, I believe, personal attorney before he got in that legal ugliness. So that, of course, is talking about the trial back in 1995. So Kim posted on Instagram, falling short isn't failure, it's fuel. I was so close to passing the exam, and that only motivates me even more. Now, she doesn't say how close she was, but that's what she said. I will also tell you that a lot of people contacted me about another story regarding her that preceded her announcing her results. And that is where she apparently sat for a video for Vanity Fair and was answering questions on camera. And at one point in time, she admitted that she used ChatGPT for legal advice. Now, if she's going to become a lawyer, you'd think she'd follow the stuff that lawyers need to know, including the fact that you can't use ChatGPT for legal advice. So I worry now, but She also went on to say that it caused her to fail tests. Caused her to fail tests. Now, I read, and I don't remember if it was in the Futurism article that I got that from or someplace else, but she apparently said that she had used it to study for the bar exam. And now, studying for the bar exam using ChatGPT sounds dangerous to me, but if you want to live dangerously, knock yourself out. But she says it caused her to fail tests. I'm not sure if she's talking about the bar exam itself, because you couldn't use ChatGPT for the bar exam itself. But I would hope that between now and when she becomes a lawyer, if she becomes a lawyer, that she pays attention to all the attorneys, especially ones on YouTube, who are saying, you can't use ChatGPT for legal advice. You just can't. And if it caused her to fail tests, well, I got news for you. It didn't cause you to fail a test. You caused yourself to fail a test because you relied on ChatGPT for whatever test that might have been. So again, I didn't take the California bar. I'm not mocking her for failing the bar. I'm simply pointing out that she had said she was confident she'd passed, that she didn't pass, but she's now saying, of course, I've got this TV show. Maybe you should watch the TV show. So it's a lot happening here. But there you go. So she did not pass the bar. And what's interesting is she's of the sort of famous where she can say something and people will print it in a variety of news outlets. And that's one of the reasons I've avoided talking about her, because I don't want to become part of that machine. However, when she announced that she was confident she passed, somebody I know very, very well, one of the people closest to me in my life, actually said to me, Steve, she passed. I said, no, she didn't. We don't know that. Do you think she'd say that if she wasn't confident she passed? I said, confidence in passing is not the same as passing. And the person I'm talking about said, there's no way that she would say that if she hadn't passed and she knew it. And I said, no, she's on the internet as a reality TV star. She's a social media influencer. She says things and it gets attention. And so when she said she was confident she passed the bar and people were telling me she passed the bar, I said, well, if nothing else is wait and see, but I'm certainly not going to do a video saying she's confident she passed the bar, because it turns out she didn't. And to paraphrase what Barbie said a few years back when there was all that brouhaha, the bar exam is hard. So Jack Revell, the Daily Beast, wrote that story. Confident Kim Kardashian reveals the bar exam results. She did not pass. Questions or comments, put them below. Let's talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching Lehto's Law. Never memorize something you can look up.